The movie starts off with a young boy named Sam, cuddling with his best friend Stasia. While embracing, Stasia teases Sam about his failed love life, but Sam just ignores her and asks what she plans to do during Valentine's Day. Stasia shrugs, saying she's just going to chill and not go anywhere. This confuses Sam, so he asks if she has any plans with Gary, the guy she's been dating for the past 3 years. Stasia replies that since they aren't officially boyfriend and girlfriend, it's better not to get too close. Sam nods at this, then mentions how difficult it's been moving on from his ex-boyfriend, Malcolm. Although the breakup happened months ago, Sam still hasn't been able to forget him. As a result, he reluctantly tells Stasia that he doesn't want to date anytime soon. During their conversation, Sam informs Stasia that he'll be leaving the city for a couple of days to attend his high school best friend's engagement party. Stasia nods in understanding and urges Sam to distract himself as much as possible. Just as they're talking, Sam gets a call from his friend Kelly, who recently got engaged. During the call, Kelly asks him for a very awkward favor. She urges him to give Harry Turpin, his high school bully, a ride to the engagement party. As expected, Sam is furious at the request and immediately declines. However, Kelly practically begs him, explaining that Harry recently broke up with his girlfriend and has no other way to get to the party. Not wanting to refuse his best friend's request, Sam reluctantly agrees. Stasia, infuriated by Sam's inability to say no, berates him for agreeing to such a ridiculous favor, but Sam ignores her and starts dreading his meeting with Harry. 2 days later, Sam anxiously waits for Harry at their agreed-upon destination. As usual, Harry is late, so Sam begins to drive away, relieved that he won't have to spend 9 hours with his bully. But just as he starts leaving, Harry shows up, yelling for him to stop the car. Harry hurriedly gets in and immediately starts talking about himself, without even apologizing for his delay. Needless to say, Sam is pissed, but chooses to stay quiet. He drives, trying his best to ignore Harry, but Harry just continues to complain about his ex-girlfriend. Eventually, Harry tries to bring up their high school memories. Annoyed, Sam recalls all the times Harry bullied him, called him names, and made his life miserable. Harry laughs it off and offers a half-hearted apology. Fed up, Sam asks Harry to stay quiet for the rest of the drive and only speak in case of an emergency. Obviously, Harry ignores this and keeps talking. This basically drives Sam insane, so he insults Harry, calling him a self-obsessed asshole. At one point, Harry starts telling Sam about a guy he dated. Before he can even finish, Sam looks him straight in the eye and asks what he means. That's when Harry reveals that he's pansexual. Sam is shocked by the revelation, but congratulates him for living his true identity. Harry simply smiles, and then asks Sam if they could hang out sometime, explaining that he needs a good gay wingman. Sam is so surprised by this sudden change in behavior that he nearly crashes into a truck. Fortunately, he manages to swerve just in time, saving both of them from a potential accident. Sadly, the car gets damaged, so they drop it off at a nearby garage for repairs. With the car gone, the two decide to stay at a motel. There, they drink beers and talk about their coming-out experiences. At one point, Harry exclaims that he's surprised Sam never knew about his sexuality. Sam just shrugs, saying he was never interested in anyone else's life during high school. Moments later, a very guilty Harry reveals that the reason he used to stare at Sam wasn't because he hated him, but because he admired him. Harry adds that he always envied the confidence Sam had in coming out, especially in a conservative town full of. He also explains that the reason he always made fun of Sam was because he was deeply jealous of him. As expected, Sam is mind-blown and unsure how to react. Eventually, Harry sincerely apologizes for treating Sam horribly and asks if they can start over. Sam agrees, and soon, the two begin bonding over their hobbies and interests. They spend the whole night lying on the floor, talking about anything and everything. Harry even shares his dreams with Sam, expressing that he wants a lot of kids. He explains that he wants to spend the rest of his life loving one person, building a beautiful world with them. Sam is touched by this and reassures Harry that he will definitely live out that dream. With a solemn expression, Sam soon opens up about how Malcolm cheated on him multiple times with different guys. He goes on to add that losing Malcolm also meant losing his best friend, thus making the breakup extremely difficult. Harry, feeling sorry for Sam, assures him that he deserves much better. Sam is pleasantly surprised by Harry's soft side and starts to feel like they could become really good friends. While Harry goes for a quick shower, Sam excitedly calls Stasia to tell her all about his unexpected experience with Harry. It's clear that both Sam and Harry are attracted to each other, though neither can fully accept it yet. The next morning, Sam wakes up and catches a glimpse of Harry's sculpted body, finding himself unable to look away. When Harry wakes up, Sam cheerfully greets him, and soon they head to the garage to pick up the car. Shortly after, they continue their journey, and after a few hours, finally reach their destination. They are both shocked to see how much their hometown has changed. Since their journey has ended, Sam and Harry decide to part ways and attend the engagement party separately. Before leaving, Harry apologizes again for being such a jerk in the past. Sam forgives him instantly, and even suggests they return home together. However, Harry ignores this, and instead stares at a girl standing nearby. It turns out that the girl, Lydia, is Harry's ex-girlfriend, whom he clearly isn't over. Harry awkwardly tells Sam that Lydia texted him this morning, so they just might get back together, meaning they'd probably leave the party together as well. Sam feels somewhat hurt by this but brushes it off. He watches as Harry jumps out of the car and runs toward Lydia. The two hug tightly and walk into the engagement party as a couple. After the engagement party, Sam returns to Chicago and continues with his life. A year passes, and by now, Sam has completely forgotten about Harry. In the present, he meets up with Stasia, who tells him she finally broke up with Gary. She explains that despite not being in an official relationship, Gary was adamant about taking her out on Valentine's Day and making her his girlfriend. Stasia, who didn't want any labels, felt suffocated and decided to end things. Sam is confused by her decision and urges Stasia to get back with Gary, insisting that he's a really good guy. However, Stasia immediately refuses. Soon after, the two go to a singles-only party, an annual event that's held on Valentine's Day. As soon as they arrive, they head over to Brian, who quickly hands them drinks and directs them to where all the attractive guys are. Stasia and Sam rush over, hoping to find Sam a date. Since Sam is too shy and picky, Stasia picks out a few guys for him to talk to. However, Sam quickly rejects them, explaining that they are too different from him. At one point, Stasia points to a handsome guy and urges Sam to approach him. Sam, who is most definitely attracted to the guy, decides to give it a shot. But when the guy turns around, Sam realizes it's none other than Harry. Panicking, Sam tries to run away, but Harry recognizes him and casually walks over. Sam tries to play it cool and awkwardly chats with Harry for a while. He then asks what Harry is doing there, since he and Lydia had gotten back together. Harry explains that he and Lydia broke up shortly after the engagement party, and he has dated several people since then. He adds that after a whole lot of getting around, he has finally decided to stop dating until he runs into the right person. Needless to say, Sam is shocked and doesn't know how to process all this information. Instead, he changes the subject and asks Harry what he's been up to recently. Since they both graduated from the same university, Harry mentions that he's been trying to figure himself out. Sam responds by saying he's been working for the mayor and plans to empower the youth politically. The two continue talking for quite a while and get along pretty nicely. In the meantime, Stasia notices the attraction between the two and immediately excuses herself. She wishes Sam the best of luck and urges him to woo Harry. She then heads over to get some drinks for herself. Whilst drinking, she spots a really attractive guy sitting by himself, so she approaches him and asks if he's interested in a no-strings-attached kind of relationship. The guy readily agrees and takes her to a closet so that they make love. On the other hand, Sam starts to warm up to Harry. He grabs drinks for both of them, and the two even dance together. At one point, Sam notices Harry checking out another guy and immediately feels upset. Unable to control his emotions, he mocks Harry for his supposed celibacy. Harry, taken aback by Sam's behavior, asks him to calm down. Soon the two get into a heated argument, hurling insults at each other. Before the situation can escalate further, an exhausted Stasia approaches Sam and tells him she's leaving the party. Taking advantage of the moment, Sam decides to go too, which leaves Harry feeling both surprised and hurt. 6 months pass by. This time, we see Harry in his apartment with his roommate, Zach. Since they have an important event coming up, Zach begs Harry to get off his game and get ready. As usual, Harry ignores him and waits until the last minute to get ready. Meanwhile, Sam, who now has a new boyfriend named Paul, rushes with him to a nearby bar for trivia night. Upon entering, they unexpectedly run into Zach and Harry. It turns out that Paul's niece, the organizer of the trivia, is Zach's girlfriend. This means that Paul and Sam are set to participate as a team with Harry and Zach. Feeling awkward, Harry tries to leave, but Paul stops him and urges him to relax. Moments later, everyone sits down as the trivia is about to start. Harry sits right next to Sam and teases him about dating Paul, a posh gentleman who is significantly older than he is. In response, a visibly annoyed Sam insists that Paul is a very intelligent and successful art dealer, and he's happy in the relationship. It's clear that Sam is still attracted to Harry, but struggles to come to terms with it. Overwhelmed with emotion, he starts acting weirdly around Harry, and even calls him a man-whore who doesn't understand relationships. Thankfully, Harry just laughs it off and tries to change the subject, but Sam keeps insulting him and his profession. Eventually, a very irritated Harry asks Sam to be quiet, as the trivia has now begun. After the initial announcement about the trivia, the MC proceeds to ask different questions. The first team to ring the buzzer and give the correct answer earns a point. The team with the highest score wins, while the team with the lowest score is eliminated after each round. Sam immediately gets ready to answer the trivia questions, while Harry watches him, amused. The MC soon begins asking a series of questions, and Sam's team answers almost all of them. Harry answers a couple of questions correctly, which annoys Paul. He indirectly insults Harry, calling him peanut-brained, and even blames him when their team gets a question wrong. Sam tries to stop Paul, but he refuses to listen. After multiple rounds, Sam's team reaches the finals, with only one other team left in the competition. Due to time constraints, the MC announces that only one final question will be asked. The team that answers it correctly will win the trivia. Sam, Harry, Paul, and Zach all brace themselves for the final question. When the MC asks the trivia question, Paul and Harry come up with different answers, and both are confident they're right. Sam is unsure whose answer to trust, but eventually he decides to go with Harry. Fortunately, Harry's answer is correct, and their team wins the trivia. Despite the victory, Paul is furious that Sam sided with Harry. He insults Sam and dumps him on the spot. Sam, however, doesn't care about Paul at all, and decides to enjoy his time with Zach and Harry. Shortly after, Sam, Harry, Zach, and Zach's girlfriend April head to a nearby bar to celebrate their victory. As they enter, they are greeted by none other than Stasia, who happens to be working as a bartender there. Sam excitedly hugs her and tells her that he's finally broken up with Paul. Stasia, who always hated Paul, congratulates him, and then notices Harry at the bar. Surprised, she asks Sam what's going on. Sam explains that they actually ran into each other and ended up winning the trivia together. Pleased, Stasia asks if Sam and Harry are going to be more than friends. Sam replies that they're not. He explains that while he always liked Harry and tried to take their friendship to the next level, he eventually realized it wouldn't work and decided it was best to stay friends. He adds that Harry isn't really relationship material because he always ends up breaking his partner's hearts. Stasia nods in understanding and urges Sam to have a good time at the bar. Sam agrees, and soon, he, Harry, Zach, and April down multiple rounds of beers. They celebrate Sam's breakup along with their victory and have a great time. Over the next few months, Sam and Harry grow closer as friends. They spend a lot of time together, even running errands with each other. During this time, Stasia also becomes closer to Harry, considering him a really good friend. Harry and Sam's feelings towards each other continue to grow, but both of them are too scared to admit it. During Pride Month, Sam, Harry, and Stasia attend the annual Chicago Pride celebration together. They go to a bar and have a great time. At one point, a guy tries to ask Sam out, but Harry immediately intervenes, lying and claiming that Sam is straight. It's clear Harry has feelings for Sam, but he doesn't know how to express them. After much contemplation, Harry decides to come clean. He approaches Sam and asks if he'd consider dating him. Sam gently refuses, explaining that he doesn't want to ruin their budding friendship. He reiterates his stance against dating friends, adding that he'd never date someone who bails on relationships as soon as things get tough. As expected, Harry is devastated, but chooses to remain silent. Later that night, a completely drunk Sam looks around and realizes that both Stasia and Harry are missing. He starts searching for them and eventually finds them making out in a corner. Needless to say, Sam is shocked to see this and immediately runs away. The next day, while Sam is still confused about what the next day, still confused and hurt by what he saw, Sam is surprised when Harry shows up at his apartment and tries to start an awkward conversation. Meanwhile, back at Harry's flat, a confused Stasia asks Zach if he's seen Harry. Zach replies that he hasn't, then suggests they play some video games together. Stasia readily agrees, and they start spending time together. On the other hand, Harry finally confesses to Sam that he and Stasia made out and ended up sleeping together. Sam, hiding his hurt, pretends to be oblivious and assures Harry that he's completely fine with it. However, despite his words, Sam begins to tear up, struggling to stay calm as he realizes Harry and Stasia might soon end up as a couple. Back at Harry's apartment, a very concerned Zach tells Stasia that her relationship with Harry will eventually end up ruining their friendship with Sam. He urges her not to continue the fling, but Stasia dismisses his concerns, insisting that Sam wouldn't care since he's determined to remain just friends with Harry. Shortly after, Stasia and Harry begin dating. They decide not to put any official label on their relationship, and things are perfect for them. They avoid getting too clingy with each other, which is exactly what Stasia had always wanted. Watching them get along so well hurts Sam deeply, but he stays silent and tries to support them as much as he can. Soon, 3 months pass by, and Sam, Harry, Stasia, and Zach decide to meet up for brunch. They drink mimosas and catch up with one another. However, the atmosphere quickly grows tense as Sam remains quiet, steadily downing one drink after another. Stasia even tries to engage him in conversation, but he only responds with curt replies. Eventually, Sam gets extremely drunk and starts rambling about his dull job. His rant soon turns personal, and he starts venting about how Malcolm cheated on him and left him to fend for himself. When Stasia attempts to calm him down, Sam lashes out, angrily insulting her. He then tells her that her relationship with Harry won't last. He then jokingly adds that Harry is going to leave her as well. As expected, both Harry and Stasia are incredibly hurt by this. With tears streaming down her face, Stasia calls Sam an asshole and runs away. Harry also glares at him one last time before running after her. When Sam finally sobers up, he realizes the gravity of what he's done. However, it was too late now as Stasia and Harry had both decided to cut him off. Days pass, and Sam finds himself obsessively stalking Stasia's Instagram, where he sees that she and Harry are still happily together. Unable to bear it any longer, he blocks them both and decides to move on with his life. His roommate, Casey, tries to help by setting him up with different guys, insisting that he needs to get out and have some fun. However, none of the dates go well, further deepening Sam's frustration and worsening his mental health. A year later, Stasia tries to reconnect with Sam and shows up at his office. Unable to ignore her, Sam suggests they go to a nearby restaurant to chat. Once there, Stasia informs Sam that she's getting married and wants him to be the man of honor at her wedding. With an apologetic look, she explains how much she wants him to be part of the celebration. After a moment of contemplation, Sam asks if Harry is okay with this, since he assumes Harry is the groom. That's when Stasia reveals that she's actually marrying Zach, not Harry. She then goes on to explain that she and Harry broke up a while ago. Realizing this, Sam immediately apologizes for not trying to reconnect sooner and for the way he embarrassed everyone at brunch. Stasia instantly forgives him and apologizes as well. She then confesses that the only reason she and Harry stayed together as long as they did was because they felt guilty about damaging their friendship with Sam. They were both desperate to make the relationship work and to prove Sam wrong, but in the end, he had been right all along. Stasia continues, explaining that she and Zach fell deeply in love. Despite trying to fight their feelings, they couldn't stay apart. And eventually, when Zach proposed, she just couldn't say no. After realizing just how much Stasia loves Zach, Sam agrees to be the man of honor and tells her that he'd love to be a part of such an important moment in her life. A couple of days later, on Valentine's Day, Sam gets dressed and heads to Zach and Stasia's wedding party. When he arrives, he excitedly hugs Stasia, congratulating her on starting a new chapter in her life. He tells her she looks amazing and wishes her all the best. Suddenly, Sam spots Harry standing right in front of him, wearing a suit almost identical to his. Unsure of how to react, Sam just stares at him for a while. Eventually, Harry approaches Sam and tells him that he really misses him. Sam, who's still a little skeptical, asks why Harry never called if he missed him so much. Harry explains that he assumed Sam wouldn't want to see him again, and since their relationship was too complicated to be just friends, he thought it was best to keep their distance. Harry then admits that the only reason he started dating Stasia was to try to get over Sam. He goes on to say that ever since their road trip, he had always wanted more than friendship with Sam. But when he finally worked up the courage to confess that he was in love, Sam immediately turned him down, saying they could never be together. Hearing this, Sam becomes emotional. Tears well up in his eyes as he tells Harry that he's been madly in love with him all along and hasn't been able to move on, no matter how hard he's tried. Harry, also emotional, confesses that Sam has always been his favorite person, and he can't imagine anyone else taking his place. After a long, heartfelt conversation, filled with tears and honesty, both Sam and Harry realize that they're meant for each other. They share a passionate kiss, holding each other tightly for what feels like an eternity. Moments later, Stasia and Zach exchange their vows and officially get married. As they have their first dance, Sam and Harry join them on the dance floor, enjoying the moment. They have a wonderful time celebrating, and later that night, Sam and Harry go back to Harry's place, where they make love and spend the rest of the night wrapped in each other's arms. The next morning, Harry kisses Sam again and tells him that loving him just feels right. But with a solemn expression, Harry reveals that he's finally landed a real job. However, the job is in LA, meaning he would have to move there permanently. As expected, Sam is devastated by the news. Feeling hurt and used, he lashes out, cursing Harry for leading him on. In a fit of rage, Sam quickly gets dressed and prepares to leave. Now desperate, Harry begs him to stop, explaining that they could make a long-distance relationship work. He insists that while he doesn't want to leave Sam, he can't pass up his dream job either. But despite Harry's pleas, Sam ignores him and storms out, sobbing as he goes. A few days later, a deeply emotional and depressed Sam tries his best to move on with his life. He receives multiple messages from Harry, begging for a second chance, but Sam only responds with angry insults and eventually blocks him. Desperate for distraction, Sam throws himself into activism by going to a political rally for the upcoming election. Meanwhile, Harry, who is equally heartbroken, continues to stare at the TV for hours on end. One day, while watching the news, he accidentally sees Sam working at a political rally. Realizing this might be his last chance, Harry rushes out of his apartment and heads to the rally's location. When he arrives, he tries to get in but is stopped by a guard. With no other options left, Harry sneaks into the rally. He gets on stage and tries to look around for Sam. Eventually, after bumping into multiple cheerleaders, Harry decides he's had enough. Finally, he spots Sam and looks him directly in the eye. With all eyes on him, Harry publicly confesses his love for Sam, saying that nothing is more important than being with him. With a deeply apologetic look, Harry declares that he's not going to LA for the job. He adds that he'd rather stay and spend more time with Sam. Shortly after, Harry tells Sam that he loves him more than words can describe and begs him to take him back. Touched by Harry's heartfelt confession, Sam wipes away his tears and runs up on stage, kissing him passionately. He then forgives Harry right away. A few years later, Sam is sitting by the side of the road, happily scrolling through his phone. He smiles gleefully as he watches the video of his wedding with Harry. Just then, Harry walks over, carrying their baby. The movie finally ends with the two of them walking hand in hand, raising their beautiful child together.